Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit or Zappy here, back again with Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. We are on episode 15, and in the last episode, it was a good one. If I remember correctly, I think it was my favourite episode. I was saying that it was my favourite episode because of the sheer amount of information that we got. Of course, the episode before was when it was revealed that, Greed himself was a homunculus, and because of that, essentially, the Ouroboros crew is all made up of these, like, homunculus, or homunculi, for plural, which was definitely a big reveal. And then, obviously, back to episode 14 is when we started getting sort of into the meat of the Ouroboros crew, really, in a way. Bradley, obviously, coming out of the shadows to basically reveal that he is also part of the Ouroboros crew, and that he's Wrath. There was also like a little thing where Greed was like, what, homunculus grow older? Like, that's not supposed to happen, like, that's impossible. So Bradley is able to grow older. I'm not sure that is this case for the others. At least it doesn't look so anyway. So there's something about him that's different. So I'm sure we'll get information like regarding that. It could be a thing of like he's not, like, Bradley could be, not like an actual homunculus. We don't know that, because we don't know like the ins and outs of obviously this the father splitting his sort of like soul apart to implement into these and to make these sort of like homunculus. We don't know if like it's possible to actually take part of your soul and put it in somebody else, maybe, or what. It would be interesting if it was a case that Bradley wasn't actually a homunculus after all, but I'm sure if that is the case, it will get revealed sooner or later. Also, the fact of like we got to look at Bradley's family as well. He's got a son who looks like Mustang more than he does Bradley, but that's whatever. We don't know if that actually is a thing or not. We also got a little sneak peek at Sloth, who is working, which is interesting. Sort of like the opposite of what you would imagine Sloth actually doing, because obviously Sloth means to be essentially lazy, right? And yeah, it's interesting. Don't know what exactly he's working on just yet. What else? Yeah, other than that, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, Greed has obviously gone back into, formed again with the father's soul, which is unfortunate because I actually liked Greed out of the lot of them, But unfortunately, he's gone now, so we can't do anything about that. We're just gonna have to grin and deal with it. And then, other than that, Mustang's now in Central, so I think we're going to be getting a lot more, interesting sort of insight into what he's doing around Central and trying to get himself to climb up and eventually become the king. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'm pretty sure they haven't left. The Elric brothers haven't left Dublin yet, so we'll see what is happening in this episode to come. But that's pretty much all I've got. So yes, the link is no, the link won't be. It might be if. All right, hold on. I'll start that again because I don't know what the hell I was talking about there. The reaction will be here on YouTube. If for whatever reason it gets taken down for copyright in the future, I will re-upload this video as a discussion video only, and the link to the reaction will be in the description below. Okay, so that's only if it gets taken down for copyright. If not, then the reaction will be here. But the reaction to the full length, if you want to watch this reaction in full and not just the 10-minute cut version, then the offer is there for you in the description. But that's all I got. So we're going to get in episode 15 and see what we get. So without further ado, let's go. What the hell's that?
So you dare to challenge Giolo Comanche, the Silver Alchemist, to battle, do you?
Sounds a little like Gran Torino. This guy's pretty good. What the fuck? He's a spinning top! And he's gone. Oh, he's not. He's fine.
You got off with just a scratch.
That's definitely Gran Torino.
You can't say the same.
Oh no! His leg! Oh fuck! Blood rise to the top. Damn, dude.
I said, who is this?
Pleased to meet you. My name is Mei Chang, sir.
She's got a little panda.
Allow me to close your wound.
The hell? She's got healing alchemy?
It's a skill called alchemy from the land of Xing.
She's from Xing?
Oh my god.
Her? You mean this little creature here?
That's right, her name's Xiaomei. The art of reading the dragon's pulse, of knowing the power that flows through the ground and how to use it. That tattoo matches the flow of alchemy used in my homeland.
We can be on our way to Central without any further delay.
Oh, that sounds great. I'll go get my things.
You mean all that immortality stuff you were blabbering about earlier? There's no such thing.
Yes, there is, and I came here to find it.
Oh, shut up! Kids don't know anything!
That's why I have to find him.
Okay.
The incredible man I've heard so much about.
Full metal.
We see his hair and his eyes
Yeah.
are glowing like the sun.
It's just gonna be so disappointed. The bandit just does whatever she does.
It's dangerous to be out walking the streets alone at this hour.
Butcher
You
dude.
never know when you might meet the terrible serial killer feared by all.
Yep.
Bury the chopper!
I figured it was.
All right, that's it.
This guy's an
lady.
idiot.
Now I'm gonna hear you scream!
The Philosopher's Stone. I can't believe the fifth laboratory was being used to make something like that.
Are they the ones who made you into what you are now?
No, it was the researchers who did that.
If we find them, maybe they can tell us who ordered the experiments.
Fat chance of that. They were all used to create Philosopher's Stones. There's not a single one of them left alive.
Damn.
A little over a month ago, a military officer was killed in a telephone booth in Central. Were you the one who did it?
Phone booth doesn't sound familiar. Was he all chopped up?
Never mind.
Mustang's trying to go all Sherlock Holmes.
Winry.
What are you doing showing up like this?
Repairs are needed again.
Even Panina is holding down an honest job now, and you two still can't stay out of trouble? I've done all I can for now.
Thanks, Winry.
I'm missing some parts, so you'll have to make do with a patch job. I'll go get what we need, but until then, you've got some time to kill.
Well, no.
The fuck?
I feel so much better. You guys are lifesavers. Thanks a lot. How lucky I am to have found such hospitality. So far from home.
He's got a pad on his handkerchief.
I came from Xing.
Oh, Xing. That's the country to the east of the desert?
Why in the world would you take
Interesting.
that route?
So it goes further out than
I
there.
wanted to visit the ruins of Xerxes. That route goes by them. In Xing, it's known as alchemy. It's
Okay.
mainly used in the medical professions.
Huh. Different countries, different customs, I guess. Here, alchemy's use is mainly military. Now we still have skirmishes at the borders of Arago to the south and Creta to the west. North of us is the huge country, Drachma. We have a tentative non-aggression pact with them. Relationship is still dicey at best.
Sounds like you guys have got your hands full, all right.
A branch of alchemy that's medically specialized?
I'm curious, too. I'm Edward Elric, a state alchemist.
And I'm his younger brother, Alphonse Elric.
My name's Ling Yao. It's a pleasure. I'm not actually an alchemist.
If you don't practice alchemy, why come all the way here to research it?
Well, see, I'm looking for something.
Philosopher's Stone.
The Philosopher's Stone.
No, we can't help you.
You wouldn't be lying to me now, would you?
He's got like a ninja entourage.
Interest in the Philosopher's Stone. Kind of rude, don't you think?
Oh god.
Brother!
Fuck.
Jeez.
Off they go. Hey, Pops, let's add some dessert to my tab.
Oh, come on, dude. To the top. God, it's gonna get back. It's gonna be a fortune. That was cool. Whoa.
What are you guys after? You and your boss with the freaky closed eyes.
Nice talking
I
dodge.
landed one.
Ah, god.
Strange. As soon as I insulted Ling, this guy completely lost it.
What in the world are you doing here, Al? Besides getting yourself into more trouble.
Can I ask you a favor?
much every living person emits a flow of ki, yet I don't sense one coming from this suit of armor.
I see, okay.
That's very foolish of you.
Trying to find out.
If this is the best his flunkies can manage, that bastard Ling must be pretty pathetic too!
Awesome. Pissing them off.
Now then, I think it's about time for me to have a look at your face!
Oh, that's a woman! Whoa. Fucking hell.
What?
Yeah, she used that with just breaking out the cage, didn't she, with the other episode.
But without an array.
He just did it without the circle.
I wonder how things are going on Brothers.
I was about to say, he did it without the circle, because he's got his memories back.
Master Ling will be furious.
Oh, God!
You should be more careful about where you use
arm
that
off.
thing. It would have killed anybody else.
But how?
Okay, good work, guys.
Why, what are you so chipper about?
You guys have got some pretty impressive skills.
Look at the mess you've made. You've practically destroyed our town.
You're covering the damages.
Sorry, I don't understand much language of this country.
Oh, for God's sake.
Hey, you get the hell back here!
What a bastard.
Hello, we meet again.
What's your sorry butt doing here? So you shake down strangers for food, and yet you can somehow afford 2 personal attendants?
Well, I am the Emperor's son, after all. Not the reaction I anticipated.
Guy who collapsed on the road and then mooched food off of us is the son of an emperor!
You will not speak badly about Master Ling.
My country, Xing, is broken up between 50 different clans, with an emperor at the top reigning over all of them. The daughter of each clan's chief becomes one of the emperor's wives and bears his children. The emperor's health has begun to deteriorate recently. Each clan is doing everything they can to curry favor.
Immortality.
Stone isn't a tool for some political game.
Oh, then I'll have to stay with you until you tell me.
No, you don't. Get off of me, freak!
Missed again. You can't go 5 minutes without fucking his arm up.
There's no need to bow to someone so far beneath you.
If all it takes is a little bowing, I'll consider it a small price to pay. The fate of 500,000 Yao clansmen rides on this. We can't worry so much about appearances.
We were thinking about doing some digging in Central.
You guys are going back to Central? I want to come too. Take me with you. I'd like to go see the Hughes family again.
But
to take a break every once in a while.
Oh, really? Thanks so much, Mr. Garfield.
Well, you're going to be very disappointed.
Oh, we're going to Central. How exciting!
I told you, you're not coming with us!
I feel like they are.
You never have told me what your name is.
Ishvalan names are sacred. Ishvalan people take great pride in speaking their names aloud. I have renounced my Ishvalan name.
Okay.
Now go! I am walking down a path of no return. So I will leave behind me every gift I have received from God.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I wonder when we're heading back to, since we're heading back to Central, if Hohenheim will show up. If that's the case, we'll get a good look at who he what he looks like. Maybe we'll not have to assume that he's the father of the Ouroboros group. Okay. Okay, episode 15. Right. Really, really cool episode. I love world building. I love it. And we definitely got it in this one. For a while I was thinking that, the world map consisted almost entirely of what is called a Mestris. But that's like pretty much surrounded just on like all sides by other nations that they're not really, I mean, they're either surrounded by what you would consider enemies or nations that the relations are kind of rocky with. I guess the one that you would say is not all that much, at odds with each other is Xing, or Xing. But yeah, so the other main areas, obviously Xing being the main one that we got introduced to in this episode, that also delve into alchemy, though they refer to it as alkahestry. Which is primarily the art of medication or healing, which is really, really cool. Ed also said that Amestris is primarily just militaristic alchemy, and that's what that's used for. And he obviously went into why that's not a surprise, considering the the skirmishes that are happening in Erogo in the south and Crater in the west. And then Drachma, which really fucking cool name by the way, is up north, and they're in a non-aggressive pact at the moment, though it is tentative, basically meaning that it could fall through at any moment. But the fact of what I think you call it Mount Briggs, that basically splits the two, meaning that invasion or anything like that is tough to work around. I mean, they either have to go over the mountain or they would have to go round into Crater, right? Which, I mean, we don't even know the relations between those nations, you know what I mean? So, yeah, interesting. And I'm wondering if it's a case of like each of these different nations all focus on a different style of alchemy. If some of them even do alchemy, we don't know that yet. It's one of the, it's one of those things, I guess, like knowing that information is like very bittersweet, because I love the world building and everything like that, but when you create a world so, like, you know what I mean, so vast as that, and we're 15 episodes in, which is quite a heavy chunk considering how long the show is. It's like what, 64 episodes, something like that, which means I'd feel like we're just not going to get to really explore these places a lot. I would like to be able to, and hopefully we do to some degree, but it's like that sort of same thing, that same feeling I got when I was watching Hunter x Hunter, and it was like finally when we got to like the last 12 episodes or whatever, like the last sort of mini arc that they had, they started going into a lot of world building, like, and what was actually beyond like their world map, and then all of a sudden the anime had stopped and it's like, fuck you bastard, it's like you teased me just enough. But it's 15 episodes in, right? So there can be opportunities. I mean, 58 episodes in, we've learned about them all now. So now since we know about them and their names and everything, I'm sure if they're getting brought up more often now than they did before, then yeah, it'll be interesting to get some information on those places. But yeah, I think Ed said something along the lines of as well, is that like the relations have kind of dropped even more so, or they did drop to sort of aggressive states when with Fuhrer Bradley in charge. So yeah, I mean, this guy, considering Bradley's wrath, it's not a surprise, I suppose. Like, he's not going to be considered a peaceful ruler, right? but yeah. So with Scar, you know what I was thinking, right? When I was watching the episode, there was a moment that I realised that I never picked up on the fact that Scar doesn't use a transmutation circle, and I never even thought about it. So my thought is that what this tattoo is what allows him to do it. It must be, right? And it's not a case of him having known the truth. I don't think that's what it is. I think it's just that this is a different style. This tattoo, the art of reading the dragon's pulse, it is probably another way of like possibly another way of the truth of how you're able to use your body as the matrix structure, right? And possibly that is just another way of saying that, reading the dragon's pulse, because Ishvala is a very different place to the rest of Amestris, or at least the places that we have been. It seems very sort of individualistic, like in their practices and the way that they think about things, as opposed to the rest of Amestris. And it makes sense as well that like Scar's brother would be learning alchemy when his sort of the east of Amestris, being Ishvala, is closest to Shing, right? And that's an interesting thing about the world map as well, is that there's this massive sort of just desert waste like in between those two places. So yeah, really, really cool. So where, I mean, I guess we'll go into the Emperor stuff. So in Xing, there is 50 clans, 50 different clans, all of which the wives of those clans or the daughters of those clans were given to the Emperor to, to basically spread the seed. And he has 43 children. So 7 of those clans haven't resulted in a birth yet, or those children have died. Now I don't know if we'll get any information on that going forward, but it is an interesting sort of side thing that's actually entered the main story, is like this idea that you have these them, what you call the Envoy, right, which we've met 2 of them who are here to get the Philosopher's Stone because of the immortality, and to basically put forth give that to the Emperor who's in failing health, so that it basically secures their rise to become the Emperor or Empress. So yeah, really, really cool. And at first, when he first showed up, and I was like, I immediately picked up on the fact that I had a panda on his handkerchief. That I was like, you know what I mean? I was like, fuck, it's fucking convenient, isn't it? Like, one turns up, meets Scar, the other turns up, meets the other brothers, and I thought it was just a case of them being like pure brother and sister, right? But it wasn't that at all. Obviously, we're getting in the information about how there's 43 different children, all from a different line. At least I'd imagine so. Anyway, there could be cases where, like, twins were born, you know what I mean, and they would be in the same line. But after that, it's not like, I'm now thinking that it's not as convenient, I suppose. I mean, it is still, but you know what I mean, because the convenience of the story. But like, I feel like these 2 are most likely not the only 2 that are here. You know what I mean? There could be easily more, and we could get a whole thing about, like, they could be like infighting with each other. It depends on how they see each other. I mean, this Ling Yao guy has this slight slight sort of devilish thing about him, right? That, like, he has this, like, sly smirk and everything like that. But on the surface, when he's being an idiot, he's just like happy-go-lucky and he's enjoying it. But we'll just have to see, like, what they're willing to go to get. I feel like it will come to a head at some point. But yeah. So I guess, speaking of, like, Scar basically not even needing a transmutation circle and thinking that the tattoo is actually part of it that allows him to do that, Alphon's also without the circle. So yeah, again, similar to when I was talking about, like, some episodes ago, with the teacher and everything, and getting that truth, and being able to just do it without a transmutation circle, that they do it almost as if, like, they've known it all along. It's just like the memories of being in that and getting the truth has just been implanted in there, and it's not like they had to learn it. It's now a part of them, so they do it without even thinking. I thought as soon as he basically, like, got a hold of that guy, that, yeah, fucking hell, he didn't draw a transmutation set for that. So yeah, that is something that does actually occur with them. It's not something that they even think about doing. It's just they do it. So yeah, really cool. So the Xing, specifically the sort of ninja entourage that was with Ling Yao, specifically Fu. Anyway, he was talking about how, like, you can sense ki in a human, and I don't know if that's just specifically, like, a Xing thing, like, if that's, like, a practice that they use over there and nowhere else in the world, that they can sense ki. And then obviously he couldn't sense it with Alphonse. So it's only going to be a matter of time before they figure out that Alphonse is not a human, right? Like he's just a suit of armor. Because every time like we get some characters like that come in, it's like they just always find out because for some reason or another, Alphonse's head always falls off. But yeah, I mean, speaking of the humans that have their soul bonded to a suit of armor. Barry came back. I was wondering if he was ever going to come back because he did basically just leg it, from the 5th laboratory that one time after it exploded, didn't he? So, yeah, of course he was. I felt like he was going to show up again with Risa. Risa Hawkeye had no trouble getting that guy, like no trouble at all, which is really great. And we've got Mustang basically Sherlock Holmesing it, detective work, trying to find out exactly what happened, and everything like that. Barry was talking about how it was the researchers that actually put Barry in there, and then were used as ingredients themselves for Philosopher's Stones. So yeah, it's just this thing where they've got it was a perfect plan from the father's point of view, which I'm guessing the father was the one that went made this happen, wanted this to happen, the Philosopher's Stone, everything like that. Like a perfect plan in terms of being efficient, but also keeping the researchers' mouths quiet because they no longer exist. They were sacrificed. So it's like one of those things where they can't go blabbing. And Barry now is like that one, the one to get it out there almost. I mean, Ed and Al, specifically Ed, found out about it anyway in the 5th laboratory, and kind of just has that idea about what actually went down anyway. Because he was obviously talking to the fucking samurai dude with the two brothers, right? They were bonded to the same suit. He was talking to him about it. So basically those two did end up talking and got that out there. Of course, the other dude was actually killed for it, but Barry's still out. I don't know what. I mean, I can't imagine Mustang's going to just let him go. You know what I mean? Knowing what he does. But we'll see. We don't know if he's actually gonna, come back at any point at all now, because I think that he can be there for comedic effect, kind of, I suppose. But in terms of, I guess, his usefulness to give information, I think that's pretty much exhausted at this point. Who knows? Maybe he has a redemption. Who knows? he might fight back against the Ouroboros group, but who knows? So yeah, what else? Ishvalan names are sacred, so they never speak them out loud. So yeah, I guess he he goes by Scar, at least to the people around him anyway, like other people that are looking for him, at least. I don't even know if he knows he's called Scar by those people, but yeah, he said that he walks a path of no return. So yeah, I figured that this would be the case. I remember talking with in the episode that he showed up, or the episode after when it was revealed that he was Ishvalan, that he does this stuff using alchemy, and it's almost like he himself is in some form or fashion agreeing to become a heretic to get his vengeance. You know what I mean? Which means that obviously he's kind of just gotten rid of these, this idea of he's renounced his Ishvalan sort of heritage, because from his point of view he doesn't deserve it because of what he's doing, and the path of no return is him just basically going until either he gets killed or he completes his mission, right? Because he from his own beliefs feels like he should not be allowed back into that Ashvala way of life, even though he fights for it, but he fights for the sort of the honor and pride of that, that particular group of people and his homeland. So yeah, interesting. It is going to be interesting to see where Scar's story goes, because he's such a different character to the rest of the other group. You know what I mean? Because there's so much going on in terms of the Ouroboros group, the military, which now we know through Fiora Bradley has ties to this Ouroboros group, and everything like that. And then you've got Edward and Alphonse, Winry, the sort of group of the military, the state alchemists that we actually trust, in terms of obviously Mustang, Armstrong, and all that. And then you've got these people from Xing coming on over. But then you've got this one guy that's almost like the Ishvalan character, the one that's like doing it for, just vengeance. It's almost like he can be like a sort of anti-hero, right? Someone that you actually like as a character and kind of get why he's doing the things that he's doing. But he's just purely just out for vengeance. But because he's that like sort of lone character, I feel like it really, like, you can enjoy his side of the story and where his is going to go because it's so different from everyone else's. Like it could easily come to a point where you could have Ed and Scar maybe have to team up at some point against the Ouroboros group. You know what I mean? Like they can come ahead at that. Like even if Mustang, working his way up into Central, gets to talk to Scar, you can be like, you can have that out between the two characters and maybe bring Scar on side a bit and understand, meaning that he could fight alongside Mustang in some way. Yeah, it could be very interesting. But yeah, I mean, he was going to kill that panda. I think because what he thought was like, it's like the similar way that he sees it as like a chimera, right? I think because obviously he did the same with Nina and Alexander, that he put the chimera out of its misery because it was an abomination that was forced into this state. And I feel like in the same sort of vein, he was looking at the panda as a similar thing. Now, obviously, we don't know about, what was it, Xiao Mei? We don't know what the little panda truly is. It could just basically be a baby panda. You know what I mean? That's just a very sort of vocal. But yeah, I mean, who knows? It's interesting, like the panda thing. I'm wondering if the panda is specifically like a sort of a crest or like a family, like the family sort of animal, kind of like that family sort of animal that they that they use as their sort of like emblem in some sort of fashion, because having Mei Chang actually have a panda, and then Ling Yao having the handkerchief with the panda on it, it makes me think that's what that is. And I mean, it's very Chinese like, isn't it, Xing? I mean, the name, first of all, the names of the inhabitants that have obviously come over are very Chinese. The panda is a Chinese animal. So yeah, really, really cool. I love the world building, man. I really love it. I love how it is extended out, because it was weird. Like I didn't get a sense of scale for how big Amestris was, right? And we don't know the in between of like how much downtime the characters have actually had. I think this was the first episode where it actually mentioned like it was like, it had been a month. I can't even remember the bloody context in which it was saying like it'd been a month and something, but I don't know if that's general travel time or they were just having days off. Edward and Alphonse, who knows? Because I guess it's tough to sort of just get a sense of scale from Amestris on its own. But even though like we just didn't get it, and they have to obviously take trains to get places, Amestris felt quite small. It felt like it sort of just like encapsulated, like it wasn't far to anywhere really. And maybe that's just because of the idea of Amestris as a location, Central being the main spot, obviously being in Central, and it feels like you use the distance from Central to the border as opposed to actually seeing it from like one border to another. You know what I mean? Because everything transpires from Central outwards. So it always felt like sort of like a claustrophobic sort of world map that I couldn't really get a sense of scale. But now that like expanded it, it feels like there's a hell of a lot more going on that we're not seeing, kind of, and it just gives me that like sort of like just that sense that there's a hell of a lot more going on. You know what I mean? So world building is always great. So yeah, really, 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 really cool. So yeah, they're heading back to Central now. Fucking Winry's going with them. Oh, that's going to be a depressing episode, isn't it? God. Fuck's sake. Yeah. That's just unfortunate, isn't it? Just really unfortunate. But what are you going to do? They have to find out at some point. So, yeah, I mean, I guess it's best that Winry can be there and, like, you know, give the little kid a hug and shit like that, as opposed to, like, just finding out when she's, you know, back in Automail land. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I've got. I don't think there's anything else to really go into. Oh, aside from Gran Torino, that was definitely Gran Torino, his voice actor. He's got this, like, just inflection in his voice that is just so apparent. And dude, for this the small amount of time that we got with that character, I actually liked him, dude. And he held his own, like, much better than other alchemists that he went up against, you know. Like his spinning top, that's so, like, Hunter x Hunter, you know what I mean? Because that one dude in the arena, right, Heaven's Arena, there's one guy who's literally a spinning top, because I guess, like, obviously he didn't have, like, any legs, so he was just like one sort of peg leg. Of course, this guy had, like, just he had two legs and one of them was a peg leg, but he used it as a spinning top. You know, but dude, he was cool. I felt like he was going to get out of it, you know what I mean? But I mean, that's just it's just so good, like, having a character that literally only spanned, like, what, a couple minutes, be so, like, I don't know, like, charismatic and, like, likable that you think that maybe they can survive, because how could you just get rid of a character like that? But, you know, that's it. I mean, he's gone, unfortunate, but yeah, that's it for this episode. So thank you everyone for watching. Of course, episode 16 will come out the same time as this on YouTube, but if you want to get access to episode 17 and 18 right away, you can do by going up to my Patreon and becoming an early access tier patron. Okay, so it's $5 a month, and it gives you access to reactions a week early. There's the full length tier if you want to watch any of my reactions in full and not just the cut 10-minute version, and then there is the exclusive tier, which gives you access to movie reactions, and of course the last thing that I reacted to was actually the My Hero Academia Heroes Rising movie, which was absolutely incredible, and I'm still not entirely over, like, how amazing that movie is. So yeah, if you want to watch my reaction to that movie, then the exclusive tier will be for you, and there's a hell of a lot more movies coming up very soon, so keep an eye out for that. But that is all I've got, so thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.